Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice, but here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Alex Lee, Paul Bratslavsky, and Bobby Davis.
Hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Not Null podcast where we discuss all things tech from AI to VR, robots to flying cars. So this week I'm joined by Bobby Davis, Paul Bratslavsky, Alex Lee, and I'm Kevin Doyle. So coming up in this week's show, we're going to talk about are ads coming to your chatbot. We're going to see ads in AI chatbots here soon. In our SKYNET Watch section, we're going to talk about the New York City SnitchBOTs. Then we're going to talk about MoviePass making a comeback. We all love MoviePass the first time around, right? So are we going to get it again the second time? And finally, the new world of fakes. We're going to talk about some fake images and fake voices and some news stories that have come up recently surrounding fake imagery and some usage of some fake voices in quite nefarious ways. So let's jump in with our first story. We're going to talk about are ads coming to your chatbot. So Microsoft is apparently testing inline ads in Bing's AI chatbot. It's currently in a test phase. If you go there and if you've used it a bunch, you may or may not have seen it. It's in some sort of like test phase, I guess. So we don't really know like who's seeing it, who isn't yet. But here's I'm going to read an official like quote from their blog post. So here's what it said. It says they are exploring additional capabilities for publishers, including their more than 7,500 Microsoft Start partner brands. They recently met with some of these partners to begin exploring ideas and get feedback on how we can continue to distribute content in a way that is meaningful in traffic and revenue for our partners. As we look to continue to evolve the model together, we shared some early ideas we're exploring, including an expanded hover experience, where hovering over a link from a publisher will display more links from that publisher, giving the user more ways to engage and drive traffic to the publisher's website. For our Microsoft Start partners, placing a rich caption of Microsoft Start licensed content beside the chat answer, helping to drive more user engagement with the content to Microsoft Start, where we share ad revenue with the partner. We're also exploring placing ads in the chat experience to share the ad revenue with partners whose content contributed to the chat response. So I don't know if you've seen these yet, but these chat responses are basically in line and they're in context. So what they're kind of the example that I saw was you ask about like, hey, where can I get pizza? Like, and it gave you a response, but the response had an ad in it. It said Pizza Hut in it basically, and it said the little keyword ad in there. So I'm going to ask Alex first. Alex, this is a space that you're kind of familiar with. It's an area that you kind of work in. How do you see ads playing out in the AI chat space?
I think it's pretty ingenious. I mean, even in the article, they say that it's not a secret that they're going to use ads some way, somehow. And the fact that they're able to kind of seamlessly integrate it with the conversation is super important, especially being in the ad space. At least on my realm, I work with a lot of video ads, and advertisers, they care a lot about not covering their logos or anything like that. But here, there is really nothing to cover, and it just feels like you're just talking to a human that's giving you a recommendation. And I forget which book I read, but it's about organic growth. And generally, the best things that are really, really successful is when someone tells another person about it. It's like, hey, did you hear about this? Hey, did you hear about this? And since ChatGPT, being AI, all of them are more like conversational and not like a Google search where you're saying, hey, what is the best pizza? And then all of a sudden you just see a bunch of ads. You kind of just see it from a perspective of like conversational. Then I feel that it's going to be way more intuitive, way more likely that a user is going to click it. So it's a pretty good way that they're doing it. On top of that, it seems like they're doing it in various ways. One that's keeping it on the bottom, one that has like a little ad right next to the phrase itself. I'm sure there's going to be more and more ways, but I wonder how competing advertisers are going to feel about just only having one ad, or, you know, it's going to be really hard for someone to say, I want to see the next ad. I want to see the next ad. What Google does really well is that you get to see a bunch of ads at the same time. That way you get to at least decide what you want to choose. But here, someone's either going to be paying a lot of money or there are going to be a lot of unhappy advertisers.
Well, I can't wait till I'm coding some long CSS and I get an ad in the middle of my CSS film. I can't wait for it.
Well, it's not. I don't think that's going to be there, is it? I don't think it's going to be in like the ones that are contextual like that. I don't think we're going to see that, but I think we're going to see it in the general chat ones. I think we knew this was coming, right? This is not like
it's coming.
This is coming. We know this. We know the cost of computing these AI chatbots isn't free. Therefore, they're going to make money somehow. We already have subscription models, but when there's like a free version of this, it's definitely going to be ad supported. And Google's definitely one of the companies that are going to do that. They're going to insert their ads into these things. I don't think there's any question about that. It's just, how do we take it? What do the people feel about it?
So I think that ChatGPT will have ads in it, and you're going to pay for it. I think you're going to get like, it's the premium plus ad platform, which I'm already paying $20 a month for ChatGPT. Ads will show up any week now. They'll be in between your results. Because I don't think if they want AI to go worldwide and like everyone's using it, there has to be a free model somewhere. I mean, like there's no way everyone's going to pay for ChatGPT that wants to use a chat interface.
It's going to be like those Android and iPhone games where, you play a game and then you have to watch like 3 ads before you can start the next game.
Yeah.
I still remember back in college, like literally could just keep playing the game over and over again. But now watching 4 or 5 ads, it forces me to disable my Wi-Fi and data or turn on airplane mode so I could just keep playing uninterrupted.
Whoever invented that, those iPhone ads should probably go to hell. Sorry, I said it, because there are things I download. It's like 5-6 apps just to get to the thing of the app. So I, like you, Alex, just ended up deleting. But this is interesting because I think Google is in trouble unless they could figure out their own version of this. Because and you could tell me about this, but I find myself going to ChatGPT 4, starting a discussion about what I'm trying to do. And if I don't get my answer there, then I go to Google. And so, I mean, like Alex said, this is like brilliant and it's going to be very interesting. But Google, I feel in my mind, if they're not doing something similar, they're in trouble.
It's also wild because you can, with Google, you try to go to the website directly. Like I think this example is using Domino's Pizza, right? And then on Domino's, you have to figure out what is a good deal. But here, it'll just tell you right away what's a good deal. And it's kind of integrated well through like a conversation like, hey, if you use this, you get 2 pizzas for $4.99 or whatever, right? And it's like, does this work in Canada? Yes, it does. Like all of these little things that you would have to go look for is already answered immediately.
Yeah, so we know that the phones listen to us now. So now when we're chatting to it, do you think we're going to get some really context sensitive ads? In other words, like what I'm chatting about, I'm going to get an ad specifically about that. It's going to read all of my conversations and give me an ad based on that.
Yes, I think that's the only way that makes it useful. Because to me, I have kind of a love-hate to this. Because I love the fact that I could get a contextual ad for the thing, and it is like I am asking about pizza and it's telling me, "Hey, there's a pizza thing here, and I may want to buy it." If I get if it's unrelated, it's going to be like really, really intrusive. I think that's going to be a problem. But then on the other hand, like you're talking about the games with the ads, or just browse the internet in this day and age without an ad blocker. It is the worst experience on the planet. Like it's bad. Some of the websites now, it's just like you read a story and it's more ad than it is story. It's really difficult, and I just fear AI being kind of the new screen shift and the new way we interact with the internet and interact with information. Is it going to be just as bad? Are we gonna have an issue with understanding the difference between an ad and information? Is it going to be really, really obvious? Because we've kind of been conditioned right now we kind of understand what an ad looks like, right? When you Google something, you understand how that ad appears on the screen because you've been conditioned to understand it. They appear at the top. They have a little ad word against them. Or if you're in a game, they have a pop-up window of some kind. They're stylized in a way that we know the difference between the two. They have to do a really good job of making sure that when they're presenting us information in a chatbot, that it has that same kind of stylized like view, and we can't mistake it for information versus an ad. I don't know how the experience is going to be.
Yeah. So like, what if I'm like, I don't know, like typing in some Bootstrap and then it's trying to sell me this other third-party CSS library?
So I have an answer for that. That's a new prompt that you'll be able to say, but like, you're now a professional ad blocker. Any ad that is shown on my screen, just remove it from my search result and just pretend that I watched it and did the thing that they want me to do. Like,
hey,
right?
You've just actually, Paul, you finally come up with your killer product idea.
There you go.
An ad blocker for chat.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you, Kevin.
But I will say this, Kevin, this is, if you really read into what Microsoft's done since they released Bing Chat, according to them, they've gained 100 million users over on Bing, which is like
insane.
That's a third of America if you're thinking about it. I'm sure it's spread around the world, but like that's a lot. That's a lot.
So they're now at like 100 million and like 30 users because there was 30 before. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. They got all their users in the last 3 weeks. But like, I don't know. I haven't, for me, I'm still using Chrome every day. I don't use Bing yet, so it hasn't changed my behavior, but I have went over there and tried it. I don't know if they're saying 100 new people tried it, 100 million new people tried it. Or are they staying with it? I don't know. Is Google going to be threatened by this? I hope so, because that would take ads prices down. We actually need, a couple of ads platforms. And plus, it may make Google work on AdSense and make it like actually work. So would be good.
Maybe Alex made the point earlier too around like so on the web, Google gets to present many ads. In a chat, there's only going to be an option to present one.
Yep.
So the issue is going to be that cost is going to be, we know Google ads can be expensive. We know that cost has got to be really, really high if you're the only ad that gets presented on that response.
I don't think it's going to be the only ad, but it's going to be a prime real estate ad, if that makes sense.
Right. I'm saying it could be the only ad. If you ask about the pizza and you only get presented with one ad, like that may be the end of your chat and you get that one ad.
Exactly.
You may not chat anything else with it. And I guarantee you that ad is sold to the highest bidder. No doubt. The one that pays the most is going to get that ad space. Whereas right now, there's a lot of links on the web.
You know what I'm interested in seeing, is that going to be contextual, like ad placement, meaning like I don't like Domino's pizza and they'll know that about me. So instead of showing me like Domino's pizza, they'll show me like, Pizza Hut, way better, of course, pizza, and stuff like that. And so I wonder if it's just,
That is true. Alex. No, you're totally right. Sorry, go ahead. I kind of cut you off.
No, that's all I want to say. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, how we always train the AI model? Maybe the AI model is just trains us, like in some regards, like we know what you want before you could even think about it. Like you type the word PI and they're like pizza, Domino's. Boom.
But I don't think it'll understand that you don't like Domino's, Paul. I think if Domino's pays the right amount of money, you're going to see a Domino's ad, just like you do on the web right now. It doesn't know that you prefer Domino's over Pizza Hut, right? It doesn't know that. It will serve you that pizza ad because they paid the amount of money to serve it to you.
But here's the thing: when it sees me like have a very averse response to its ad, by freaking out on my keyboard, whatever it is, they'll be like, hey, Paul didn't really appreciate that. And so instead of like show me an ad that I'm not going to click on, it'll be like, now I know this about Paul, let me serve him another ad. And so just like you have, TikTok, which serves you the next video that it knows you're going to love, that's going to be like ads. It's going to serve you like, I know Paul's going to buy this. Like he definitely wants Thai food right now. This is, by the way, his favorite dish and it's on sale in this place that's close by his house. I'm going to show him this ad at his most hungriest. And I think that's the danger. I feel like that AI is going to get to a point where it knows us better than we know ourselves. And it's going to get to a point where it's going to be like, am I making the decision of having Thai food today? Or is AI convincing me that I should have Thai food today? And that's like what I'm kind of worried about it, is that, we're taking our own decision-making process and having those choices made by AI that will know us better than we know ourselves.
And I'm sure Alex would agree with when I say this. We're shocked that you think Domino's is actual pizza.
I live in Boston now.
We need to go to New York, man. All right. So there's a couple of places in New York I want to introduce you to. So.
Here's a terrible story that I'd like to share randomly, because we have this amazing pizza place, but when I try to order online, it says my apartment address is not found. And I get so frustrated, but I'm like, I can't physically go there. It's just not worth it. So I'll get Domino's pizza instead, which is so terrible. And every time I get the pizza, it always tastes as you expect it would taste. And I'm always like, and I get so frustrated. And I'm like, but I'm not going to drive to that nice, tasty pizza place. I'm going to move first. But I'm going to move to a place where I'm going to make sure they deliver. I don't know. It's probably bad. It's also bad, but it's just some pizza. They don't have good pizza here in like Texas. Like they really don't.
I'm just saying, John on Bleecker Street or Capizia in New York is probably the best pizza on the face of planet Earth. Period.
Yeah, we don't get good pizza here in Kernersville either, really. Sorry,
Kernersville, yeah, we don't.
There's a pretty decent one in Winston, but, you know.
Wait, but Paul, to your concern about this kind of very specific targeting, I don't know if advertisers or companies are allowed to actually do it to that extent. What they could do is they could put you in a bucket of like, hey, this is a white male in his 20s, mid-20s, of course, and he likes this kind of food. So let's just see if that works for him. But, you know, in the case of someone a lot older, like in their 40s, you know, like it's a completely different category that they're in. So just want to let you know that's how the advertising targeting works generally. And
so what's interesting, what Paul brought up was, and I'm just curious what you think about this, Alex. It's probably not possible yet. But what he was describing is that the advertiser would go in and sign up and say, I want ads here. And the AI was generating the ads on demand, basically like it's looking at the menu, for example, and showing him, you know, his favorite Thai dish, and it's showing someone else a completely different ad.
I see.
And it's generated by AI. So like if you like hot wings, I mean, you may get the hot wings from Domino's ad, or the other person may get the pizza ad. I'm wondering if I don't even think that's a discussion what they're trying to do. I think right now you have to still build the ad in AdSense and A/B test all of the copy and the markup and the image that you put together. This could be a game changer if someone built something like that, where me and Kevin were trying to run Code Founder ads, like just make 30 ads for us, you know, and then tell us which one's good. You know,
that's true.
Otherwise, we're like looking at it every day, trying to figure out which one of these ads work, and we decide none of them do, so we quit running.
I'd be curious about like what Alex said in terms of being able to pinpoint a demographic instead of having that wide net, because I swear to you that my Uber Eats app, whenever I order something and 2 weeks goes by, I'll go to order something else, it always shows me my favorite things that I looked at last. And so they're trying to kind of be like, hey, this is what you enjoy, this is what you like. So like I actually have a hard time discovering new places because of that feature, because it's like, damn, it knows me too well.
Yeah, I feel like ads are, I mean, there's just so many different versions of it. I'm pretty sure there are rules to each one. That's so maybe I'm just thinking from the perspective of a video ad, but these ads where you're actually typing in some kind of prompt to give the AI an idea of what you would like or what you would be interested in based on that. And what do they do with that information, right? Right afterwards, it's like, oh, now next week, you're going to probably want another pizza. So here it is, right?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as we move from we have this screen shift from it being like the web as it's presented today into this more chat-based thing. And of course, they're going to be there. It's just whether we're going to be able to block them, or we're going to be able to how they're going to work, are we going to like them, we're going to hate them. Like, it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see this over the next year or so as these things.
Paul, we need that ad blocker idea.
Used. Yeah. Start working.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I've been doing a lot of AI stuff lately. Weird projects.
Nice. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. Let's move into our SKYNET watch section, where we talk about whether the robots are taking over yet. And if you live in New York City, they are definitely taking over. So the New York Police Department recently purchased and launched several crime-fighting robots. That is correct. I said crime-fighting robots. This is insanity. I don't know what year we're in. These stories each week just get more and more insane. So they purchased 2 of those DigiDogs. I'm sure you've seen these. These are the those robots that look like dogs, that run like dogs, but they're headless dogs. They're very strange. So they purchased 2 of those, $750,000, by the way, $375,000 each for these things. They purchased 2 of them. So they're going to be used in hostage situations and dangerous conditions, is what they're saying. This is the second time they've launched them in New York. The first time they launched them in 2021, people pushed back on them and being like, yeah, we don't want these. One of the quotes from somebody was like, this is like an episode of Black Mirror. And if you've never seen Black Mirror, please go watch Black Mirror on Netflix. It's one of the greatest things ever. And it is like that. It very much feels like a Black Mirror episode. So the part that stuck out from me in this story, about the DigiDogs at least, was that the quote in the New York Post, the reporter wrote, "The DigiDog is technically unarmed." That scared me. I'm like, I don't know what he means by technically unarmed. I don't know if he knows something that I don't, that wasn't in the story, but I don't know what he means by that. I guess it can like hurt you. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second, though. They also purchased or leased these things called K5 autonomous security robots. They look like 5-foot tall egg-shaped robots, right? They have 360-degree cameras, microphones, sonar, LiDAR sensors. So they're just like, imagine a pole with a whole bunch of iPhones strapped on it, I guess, that can do 360, but it's like a giant egg-shaped thing. They've also used these in Philadelphia. Lowe's Hardware bought some in Philadelphia. These, and that's where they got the name SnitchBot from, by the way. That's a Philly name, which I thought was great. So the police are going to use these in Times Square and in the subway as part of they said it's a 6-month pilot. They're going to be accompanied by a human partner, a police partner that is human. It's insane. So I'm going to come to you first, Paul. Do you feel safer or more fearful knowing there are autonomous robot police?
First of all, I mean, snitch robots, that's crazy. Like, I have neighbors, so I'm just going to have more of that. That's out of control. First of all, I want to say, number one, that's crazy. Number two, the little eggshell things look like the robots from Doctor Who. So yes. I'm kind of like, man, that's going to happen. Doctor Who's happening. Terminator's happening. This is like amazing. The
Daleks.
And like, yeah. And I would be frightened because it's little by little. They're just kind of like automating, people like snitching on us. And like, when is it going to end? It's like, if you drop something, it'll be like, hey, you dropped that. Or like, hey, like you crossed the street when you're not supposed to. But the part that I heard you say, you're like, they're going to be accompanied by other police officers, which I think is smart, because if I saw a $12,000 robot or $7,500, I guarantee you 2 weeks is going to be stolen and missing. I'm telling you that right now.
Especially
someone's going to figure out a way how to take that robot, steal it, hack it for their own use case. So it's an interesting. I want to see where it goes. And I think it's more for like marketing PR right now, because I don't really see like what use cases they're going to use it outside of like the dog for bomb disarmament or hostage situations and stuff like that. But someone's definitely stealing like all of those in 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying right now. And to your statement, last thing I'm going to say, I would be really frightened if they do think about putting guns on those things. So I saw a couple of those people that build things for fun. Somebody put a gun on one of these dogs, and it was frightening. And I was like, they should never, ever do that. And to make things worse, they just made it automatically recognize human faces and shoot at them. And so I was like, wow, that's terrible. And so I hope people have that. I hope people have enough common sense to kind of make good calls on stuff like this. It's like, how much of our human decision making do you want to automate?
You have way too much faith in humanity, Paul.
Seriously. Yeah.
How long will it be before this robot gets pushed onto the subway tracks itself? It only weighs 400 pounds. When will it get graffitied? And if you assault the robot, are you assaulting a cop, or is it a personal property? Like, what is the crime that's going to happen when you destroy this robot?
Somebody will set precedence for that, no doubt. Somebody will graffiti it, and there will be some kind of legal thing that will set precedence, whether it's going to be vandalism or whether it's going to be like assault on an officer. Right.
I'm not saying this is what I want to happen, but hypothetically, if someone is living in New York and they see those egg-shaped robots, please paint it like the robots from Doctor Who and take a picture and put it online. I think it'll be the greatest. I mean, don't do it. I'm just saying, if like imagining things.
It would be funny if someone did that.
Yes,
right?
I'm not saying you should.
So, like, how much surveillance do we need? Do we need to become a complete surveillance state? I mean, like, they didn't talk about microphones. I'm sure it has microphones too. I'm sure
it does. Yeah, microphones. Yep. Yeah. Sonar and LiDAR sensors as well, by the way.
So it can like basically has X-ray vision and
yes.
Yeah. What if I don't consent to being recorded?
You have no choice.
You have no choice now.
You have no choice anyway, though. Don't forget, your consent to being recorded. Yeah. If you're in a public space, you soft consent anyway. Like,
what was that book? 1984. Anybody read it? It might is that like a real thing? Like, is that a?
Another thing they had was like the other cool piece of tech, if you read the article, is that they have this gun you can shoot, and it attaches the tracker to the car. That's straight out of the movie. I don't remember which movie it was, but like, Black Panther had him. He threw them on cars, that kind of stuff. So,
but did you see the picture? It's like there's no way no one will not notice that. It's huge.
Yeah, it's a big gun. It's a BFG from Doom. So,
Yeah.
No, I meant the attachment itself. It's just like
well, yeah. So like if they're running away, yeah, it looks like a can of soup on the back of the car. It's pretty big.
What
I guess
about
that's
the elephant?
how's the magnet? I guess I don't know how it works.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about the elephant in the room? About these digidogs? Are the canines going to be on strike? They're going to lose their jobs.
Oh my god!
AI's taking over. Machines.
I would be more scared of a German Shepherd canine dog than this thing. I can
Not if it has a gun.
Yeah, that's true. If it has an automatic weapon with an aimbot from Call of Duty,
So this is why I'm always nice to ChatGPT-4, and this is why I'm always on the SKYNET watch. I'm always like, it's already too late. But imagine if we do have AGI, which is able to make decision on its own, and let's say we do have a gun on one of these robots, and somehow malfunction or something happens, and there you go, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, whatever, it's happening. And so I think there should be some sort of oversight and legislation, as much as like depending where people sit politically, there are certain things I'm like, oh, we should have more freedom, but there are certain things like certain technologies and certain things I think we should think about them and figure out like what's the proper way to proceed, rather than everybody getting excited and jumping on these bandwagons.
Yeah, because what's the use case for the DigiDog, right? They're saying hostage situations and other dangerous conditions. What does it do in a hostage situation? Like, how does the DigiDog
to you
help in it? That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why do we need a DigiDog for that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, or is it one of these situations where we talked about before, where they had these drone robots where they took out the sniper, right? They strapped a bomb to it and walked in there. That's literally arming a robot.
Yeah.
That's why it said it's technically not armed. What I think it
right.
is that I can strap things to it.
I think so
that's
too.
What they mean. When we put the rocket launcher on the back, it's not part of the robot. We just strapped it on it.
And
it's not.
It makes no sense for hostage situations if they're going to use it for communication purposes. Because if someone in the hostage situations, like they've been down on their luck, they made some like decisions that led them to that point. The last thing they want to do is to someone who's not going to show compassion or show their understanding in their situation to be able to talk them out of like the thing that they were thinking to do. Like to me, like it's like, no, we're just going to send a machine because we don't care about you or the hostage and like whatever, but bomb disarmament, it makes sense.
It seems like there's like a manual override. So you just have I guess it's like a go-kart. So
you can control it.
Yes, you could just...
maybe it's meant to be like a therapy dog. Like it shows up and tries to be like, like you pet the dog and you no longer
like
want
a real dog
be in a hostage situation. Yeah. You no longer need to be in a hostage situation or the dangerous condition you've created now. The therapy dog showed up. We're all good.
Hilarious if we get to a point in our life where the hostage is being held by one DigiDog, and then there's another DigiDog that's going over there to talk to it, like, hey buddy, like what's up? It's like, I don't know. It's just the world's crazy. But I'm like scared and excited at the same time to see where we're gonna go with all this AI.
I don't like the surveillance state. I think we should resist that with every fiber in our being. Like it never goes well for honest living people,
I think like there was a Awesome Onion video that was made like 12 years ago, whenever like Facebook first started. And the joke was Facebook was like a deep state program by the CIA to keep an eye at everybody. And at that time, everybody thought it was funny. Everybody joked. And I think because we had this very steady, it's like you put the frog or lobster into the lukewarm water and you slowly turn up the heat. That's what's been happening to all the people. Little by little, our rights were getting like taken away. And now we are at a point where I don't think we could stop it, to be honest. And like, I hate to say it, but I think like, because more people need to kind of really understand what that means, because a lot of people, maybe they're not as technically, they like when we tell them things like this, they're like, oh, it's science fiction. It's not true yet. It's not happening. And a lot of people don't understand. And I feel the more technologically advanced society gets, the harder it is to have privacy. And I'm imagining that, 10 years from now, it's going to be like impossible to have any privacy.
Yeah. Turns out that the joke ended up being true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next story. Let's talk about MoviePass. So just a quick poll here, just before I jump into the story. Anybody a previous MoviePass subscriber? No, I know Bobby was.
Yeah, well,
I was.
big
Paul,
lurker.
no?
What was MoviePass? Was it
Okay. Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good. I'll explain MoviePass. So MoviePass was the subscription service where you paid $10 a month. And I'm going to talk about when it was at its height, right? Because it had various pricing models in the beginning. I'm going to talk about when it was like, I'm going to talk about it in 2018, right? Which is when it kind of peaked. It cost initially, starting off 2018, it was $10 a month, and you were allowed to see a movie every day. It had limitations. You couldn't see IMAX. You couldn't see like 3D movies. You can see those kind of things. It did have some limitations. In March of 2018, the price was as low as $6.95 a month when paid annually. We're talking about $95 a year, right? You could go to the movies and watch a movie every day. Think about what that costs if you did that. It's a lot of money, right? By May of that year, though, MoviePass was losing $40 million a month because they were paying full price for the ticket. And I guess they didn't expect everybody to go every day, and a lot of people did. I had a MoviePass back then. I used it quite a chunk. It was great. So they kept raising the prices then. They basically couldn't make money. They couldn't make it pay out. They had some technical issues with the app. They basically ended up like shutting it down all of a sudden. They made it very, very restrictive. And at one point, you just couldn't use your card anymore. Just they shut it off one day. Their ending was really quite rough. And they eventually went into bankruptcy. So now, come 2022, technically, they one of the original co-founders repurchased it and has relaunched it. So there's it works differently now, slightly. There's a bunch of different tiers to it now, $10, $20, $30, $40 a month tiers, and they give you credits. So if you pay, as an example, you can pay $10 and you get 34 credits. A movie costs you anywhere between 10 and 20 credits, depending on when you go. And if you go in the afternoon, it's 10 credits. You go on a Saturday night, it's 20 credits, right? And then there's a 15 one in between. So you're paying for credits. So you can see anywhere between, depending on how much you pay. If you pay $40 a month, you can see up to 30 movies in that month. You can see one every day if you pay $40 a month still. So it's 4 times the original cost or even more, depending on how you do it. So it's a little bit more expensive than it was. Some other limitations, same day purchase, in person only now. The previous version of MoviePass, you could buy tickets like a week in advance. It was great. And currently, with this new version, though, popularity isn't a factor. So if you want to go see the most popular movie on that Friday night, you can, as long as you can walk up to the ticket office and buy a ticket. Previous version, they had limitations on that, so you couldn't do that. You couldn't walk up and find like a popular movie. They said like, hey, there's a blackout on certain movies for like a couple of weeks at the beginning. So that's not a limitation anymore. No IMAX or 3D as well in this new version as well. So I know Bobby, as a previous subscriber, is this a service that can now win you back, having been burned by it originally?
No, I'm a triple diamond member in Regal Pass. I have like 1 million points on my Regal card. And
What's the benefit
Regal
of a
Pass
Regal
is
Pass?
$18.99. I can go see a movie for free anytime I want to.
Okay. Is it unlimited, though? You
Unlimited. I can go
That's
anytime
awesome.
I want. And it costs money to see IMAX. So I typically see every movie I see. I only see movies in IMAX, and it costs me $3.
It's a good deal.
So
Okay, I think that served the Regal one. So Regal came out with one,
Yep.
IMAX came out with one. I think what happened with MoviePass was it spawned all of these movie theaters be like, whoa, why don't we have our own version of this? And it
Right.
did, and that's like the Regal one you have now.
So I go to a lot of movies, and the thing is, I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but you can buy the tickets in advance. So you can literally buy. It's like if you want to go on a Friday, you can buy a ticket for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and just everyone goes. The whole family goes.
Wait, what?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you buy one a day, but like you can buy the tickets in advance, and you just I buy 3 tickets during the week, and the whole family is going to the movies. Then we buy popcorn, which
Gaming the
costs an arm
system
and a leg.
over there.
But
Oh, they're getting your money from the popcorn. Yeah, you're spending $50 on the popcorn and the drinks.
the manager knows me by name, so just to tell you how many times
Nice.
I go to Regal. So hey, Bobby, what's up?
I have a question because when I was living in Connecticut and I used to travel to Boston and New York, and the movie theaters, typically you go in, you buy your ticket, and you just get like either some crappy nachos, popcorn, or like Coca-Cola, your soda.
Mhm.
Texas movie theaters are not like that at all. Like you go into a theater, first of all, they have reclining chairs. You sit in them. They serve you beer. They serve you real food. So like you go to a movie, it's like $100. And I was like, I'd love to have some sort of cheaper way or experience. Because I don't go to movies because it's too much. It's too much, but it's pretty insane. But the first time I went to a movie theater in Texas where I reclined back and got a beer and a whole pizza and cookies, and I was just like, this is terrible. This is not good. This is not good for society.
Like wow. So you have the Alamo Drafthouse there.
Yes,
by the way.
yes.
Is that so this is one of the greatest movie theaters in the country.
100%.
And you're like, it's on your doorstep. Like you should be like glad that it's there.
No, it's awesome. I'm not complaining because it's not awesome. I'm complaining because it's too awesome, and like I could never go and eat healthy there. It's great.
I got you.
So the worst thing that ever happened to movies, I'm going to ask guys this question, is probably when they serve alcoholic drinks at movies, and you've been in New York, right, Alex? So
yeah. They have Alamo Drafthouse in New York too now. So
yeah,
nice.
Oh,
nice.
The drunk guy comes in and makes everyone angry. You know, he's yelling at the screen. You're like, dude, why are we serving alcohol at Superman? Like, I don't understand.
So it sounds like, Bobby, the old MoviePass price point was awesome for you. With this Regal price point, do you feel like you're an ideal customer, or you're like a power user that they're like, okay, well, let's take him as a loss, and then
I'm a loss, but I'm a power user. I like movies. I mean, I see them all. I see all the movies. Like, I don't know. I probably saw. Put it this way: when Tenet, let me tell you how much of a movie fan I am. In 2020, Tenet comes out by Christopher Nolan. I drove 200 miles to see it in an IMAX theater in South Carolina.
Hardcore.
Wow, you crossed the Carolinas.
We
Right?
went
to an IMAX theater in 2020 because it wasn't closed to COVID. And it was me and my two sons. We were the only three people in an entire giant IMAX. We had it all to ourselves. I felt like we suddenly became billionaires. Like, you know, this is our living room at this point. It was crazy. Like, it was fun, though.
The reason why I asked this question is because the whole model of MoviePass, why it failed, was because they were thinking that they could do it like the gym memberships, because most people buy gym memberships and they actually don't go because it's just you get motivated early and then eventually you get tired. It actually takes effort to go to the gym, but watching a movie, you just sit down and enjoy, relax. That's why it was like abused like crazy. That they were trying to do this growth at all cost model, but they were just burning cash nonstop, and even raising money.
2 months to get into the point where they're losing $40 million a month. I mean, that's nuts.
Exactly. The more users they got, the more money they were losing, which is crazy.
That's wild.
They also tried to hold AMC and Regal hostage. I don't know if you remember that, Kevin, where they were saying that they sent them letters saying, you need to pay us because we have all of the ticket holders now. They're all coming through us. And they basically said, nah, we're not doing that.
And that was them trying to fight for cheaper ticket prices, wasn't it? Yeah. They were trying to say, like, hey, if we can get a cheaper ticket price from AMC or Regal or whatever, then we can pass that along and then we won't be losing as much money. It was kind of crazy. So I remember I did have MoviePass at the time when it was at its peak. I think when I got it, it was $7.95 a month.
So much
so it was
more.
still an amazing deal. Yeah, exactly. It was still an amazing deal. It was when paid annually, so it was still. I bought it for the year. I used it. I definitely got my money's worth. It was great. My problem is and the reason I don't subscribe to one of the newer ones now is a few reasons. COVID happened, and that was kind of a pain. It shut a bunch of movie theaters down, and that kind of destroyed it for a minute. But then the experience of going to the movies for me is I love half of it. I love the half that has a giant screen, amazing sound, and is super immersive. The half that I hate, everybody else that's there.
Yeah. So here's what I would say as an avid movie go theater. If you go to an epic, like I saw Justice League in Times Square, and you're with people that know how to watch a movie like that in Times Square, and New York fans, it was a fantastic experience. They yelled at the screen, but they knew when to yell and when to shut up. In North Carolina, people just talk the whole time. Like they're not watching the movie. They don't know how to do that, So it's just, I wish I could go back to the New York experience, because when Superman cut his eyes at Flash and Flash realized that Superman was just as fast as he was, the whole stadium in there went nuts. I mean, whereas I can go see a movie now and there's 42 people in there, and right behind me, it's this family with 4 kids talking about, where they're going to eat after the film. It's just like you're at home. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand it.
That's why my favorite thing when HBO like does that, the movie release during whatever. Like
I love at-home movie releases.
I'm just gonna stay
Best
at
thing
home.
to happen.
Exactly. I'm with you on this, Kevin. Like I just by myself with my Pizza Hut or Domino's Pizza, depending what ChatGPT said to me that day, and I'm just sitting there enjoying like the greatest movie ever. Speaking of movies, has anybody seen like what was like the movie that you recently watched that you like? I'll recommend this one.
Dungeons and Dragons, believe it or not. It's actually pretty good.
I heard that. I heard a review that there's this dude, Critical Drinker or something like that.
Critical Drinker.
Yeah, and he usually does really pretty nice reviews. And he's like, you should check it out. So I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to have to watch it.
Air's good.
Do you think this is going to be viable? I mean, I feel when it first started, it was so revolutionary. It was such a good idea. But now all the regular movie theaters, they just could, to your point, Bobby, they could just build their own service. So what?
They already have it.
And they have already.
What's the incentive for movies to collaborate with MoviePass? There is none, right?
None.
What was the last movie you saw, Alex, that you liked? You were like, this is good.
Man, I've been only watching pretty bad movies lately. I've been binging the Marvel series post like Infinity War saga, and they all so bad. I watched the Doctor Strange, the multiverse one. Yeah. Oh goodness.
It's funny because Bobby agrees with you on that. Being a big Marvel fan, I know you do. He doesn't.
Don't get me. We could have another podcast about like why Multiverse of Badness is terrible, but like some of the decisions in that. But like,
I was about to watch Black Panther, and then I saw that it was 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I just closed.
Like, oh man,
no, I can't. There's no way I can watch this.
Yeah, Black Panther's another one. It's a movie called Black Panther without Black Panther in it. It was just kind of it was a letdown from the first one for sure.
Yeah,
the first one's way better. I agree, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
but
Kevin,
I've not been watching a whole bunch of movies lately. I've been watching more TV stuff.
A
lot of TV stuff. I'm currently watching Mandalorian's ongoing, Ted Lasso's ongoing. Love both of those shows at the minute, watching those a lot. But I went back and watched Pistols on Hulu, which is the Sex Pistols kind of like semi-biographical thing. Depending on which member of the band you are, it's autobiographical. Some of them don't agree that it is, but it's really good. It's really well done. It's Danny Boyle, who's amazing, and it's shot in kind of 4:3. It's like edited in 4:3. It's really good. Which is I don't normally like. I don't like watching a 4:3 video image on a 16:9 screen. It annoys me. But this is really well done. You kind of get lost in it. Makes it look like the 70s. It's really good.
The last show I watched that I really liked was Severance, and I'm waiting. When's the next season that's going to come out? That was a really good one. Yeah. But I do have a movie recommendation, especially for you, Kevin, because I recommend 80s movies. This was not made in the 80s, but it has that feel for it. It's called Blood Machines. And it's supposed to be the most visually like amazing movie. It's only if you could find it where to watch it. It is pretty awesome. Here, I could throw the link.
Give me a genre. What genre is it in?
I can't even describe it. It's like sci-fi, like it's I'll put it in the chat, the site here you should check out. Don't spoil it for yourself. Like don't watch spoilers and like whatever. Okay. It is visually one of the most impressive movies made. And if you like, like synth style music and like kind of very visual and it's pretty interesting. So I really enjoyed it.
Okay. I will check it out. Review of Blood Machines coming next week.
Hey, Bobby,
nice.
The reason why I asked you the question about if you believe in MoviePass is that they're hiring a CTO. And the first thing is a huge passion for movies.
Yeah, but they're not going to hire me.
Not after this episode.
No.
We're also not getting sponsored by Domino's Pizza either.
They don't have a chance. And I mean, it's done. I mean, everyone else has subscription servers. So like you're selling a subscription service for a product you don't own. So
that's true.
It's even if I was looking for a job or if it's a CTO, I'm like, I'm going to pass on that one. I think I can go somewhere else that has a better chance of winning.
The way these actually work, which is kind of crazy, is it's a credit card, isn't it? That's what it really is. It's a credit card that you're actually buying. It's a credit card you're subscribing to with some like money on it that has to like pay for the movie theater. Because when you go to AMC, it's a regular credit card for them. They just swipe it for whatever the ticket price is.
Yeah.
So the business
you
model
can't
is
pay
kind
in
of weird.
advance, Kevin. You have to be in person to use the card.
Yes,
I mean,
you
like
do.
it's so terrible. Like, we buy in advance on the app all the time. We just show up, sit in our
That's the thing. It's been superseded, hasn't it, by their own, the person that does own the product is selling it now. So what reason? I'm with Alex. I don't get it.
The only way this would have succeeded is doing it from the beginning and doing it right. I feel like they could have somewhat followed the Netflix model of first engaging with the hand that feeds you kind of thing, or and eventually you gotta like do your own, like create your own movie theater to revolutionize like how people like view movies. But that's already happening now at this point. So
okay, let's move on to our last story. Let's talk about the new world of fakes. We've talked about this a little bit on previous podcasts. I don't know particularly which ones. I think last week, maybe the week before. But we talked about fake imagery previously. But a couple of stories popped up in the last week or so. The biggest one being that an AI image won a Sony World Photography Award. He entered it into this competition basically as I'm just going to see if I can. And he entered it in. Nobody noticed it was AI generated. He's a German artist, by the way. Entered it in, and it won. It won the Creative Open category. I encourage you to go look at the image online, anybody that's listening to the podcast, because it is a good image. It's interesting. It's a picture of two ladies that are apparently from different generations, an older lady at the back, a young lady at the front. And it has this kind of like, I don't know, I would say it's almost like a World War II like vibe to it. It looks like an old photograph. It's black and white. It's really well done. It's a really interesting image. Like from an art perspective, it is really good. I could see why it won. And he basically put this image in because he thought he wanted to see, like, basically whether competitions were ready and prepared for AI images to enter. His summary, they're not. Clearly, he won. When he did win, he immediately put his hands up and said, whoa. I didn't, like, intend to win this. I'm trying to make a point. I'm not trying to, like, scam the system. I'm trying to make a point that these AI images are out here and they're pretty good now and you can be tricked by them. So Sony World Photography Awards can apparently be tricked by an AI photograph. So that's the first thing. I'm going to talk about the second story first, then we'll kind of I'll get your opinion on both these. The second one was a recent story where a voice was cloned. So a mother received a phone call from a number that she did not know. Right, her first mistake was answering it, clearly, because who does that, right? Who does that? Who answers a phone call from a number? I don't know if any of you guys do, but I certainly don't. I never answer it. It's straight to voicemail, or they just like, you never answer it. So she answers it. On the other end of the phone is somebody claiming to have kidnapped her daughter. And they basically put the daughter on the phone. She says a few words. She's like, wow, okay, you clearly have my daughter there. And then in the background, you hear the daughter like screaming, like, help me, mom, kind of stuff. They try to extort like $1 million from this lady. She doesn't have $1 million. They eventually agree on $50,000. Bit of a come down. Should have been a giveaway, but in the meantime, while she's on the phone with the scammer, somebody managed to get a hold of the daughter and proves that it isn't a scam, and the lady hangs up on the person. But it goes to show you that the mom, the voice was so good at mimicking the daughter, the mother of the daughter did not know that it was not the daughter on the other end of the phone. So AI photographs are winning Sony World Photography Awards. They are that good to do that. And the mother of the daughter cannot recognize it's an AI voice. We're in trouble.
And to add to that, I don't know if you've seen, Fireship actually did a video on this, but somebody took the band The Weeknd and Drake and create like a bestseller song that, and I think the music industry is going hard for that dude, because I think they want to make an example. But if you listen to it, like in passing, like for like a minute, you're like, oh, I didn't know like they had a new song that was like phenomenally awesome, actually. And so I think, yeah, it's very interesting to see where it's gonna go. And this idea of like cloning someone's voice and this use case of I have your kid, give me money. This could be someone pretending to be a family member, calling the elderly, and any nefarious like things. And this is like terrible, and this is going to happen. And the thing that I think is happening, like the technology is moving so fast that you can't even educate the public about all these new scams that are going to come out.
Agreed.
Yep, yeah, agreed. The thing that's shocking about the Sony picture, Kevin, is that the hands are almost right.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Almost, but the
Almost.
hand is the giveaway.
Yes.
The hand is the actual giveaway that it is AI. If I was looking at this, and because we've talked about this a lot, but if you're looking at a photograph these days and you want to determine whether it's AI generated or not, first thing to look at is the hands. And if you look at the hand on the shoulder, they are slightly wrong. The one has like slightly uplifted fingers on one end. The other one has too much space between two fingers. So it's like, but it is subtle and you do have to look for it. I mean, it won an award, man. A lot of people looked at this and they said, yes, that wins the award. So, it fooled a panel of judges.
If people saw the picture and, to make the hand not be an issue, they should have said it's a vampire standing behind its victim, because that's what the hand looks. To me, it looks like a vampire hand. That's what that looks like.
Is this person a famous artist by any means? Like, I wonder if his reputation is also a part of the reason why he could have won, kind of thing. Not just basically on the art itself.
Yeah.
Could be.
I'd be curious, yeah.
Doesn't that defeat the idea of the competition, though, if you can just win on
I mean, it's just kind of like...
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but...
Yeah, I'm just saying if one of us submitted this, and then it's like, who the heck is this guy? We don't want to give him this award.
We would not win for sure if that was the case. Like, who's this Alex person?
The problem is you Google his name now, it just comes up with this story, obviously. It's like, it's his name is like now associated with the story forever.
There's just so many ways you could kind of leverage this voice and video technology together. You could even just fake so many reviews. You could write bad reviews against competition, good reviews for yourself.
I think reviews
it's already happening, but yeah.
I think it's going to be done. People are already faking reviews now. I think this is going to make reviews absolutely useless. Like, there's no reason to read a review anymore.
I think the way to solve this is we are in trouble in terms of authenticating what is real and what is fake now.
Right.
Across voices, across images for sure. Videos are next. We've seen CBS had a story where they were shown Google's video image creation tool. While it didn't look amazing, it was kind of getting to a point where it's like you could see it being kind of passable in the periphery. Like, it's going to be there. There will be decent AI video creation where you can put a person in a scenario and it's going to be that person in that scenario. So this is coming. We have to think about, how do we validate what is real and what is not real? Is there some kind of digital signature thing we can kind of come up with? Somebody has to have, there's going to be a killer app here. There's going to be some kind of, is it on the blockchain? Is it something like, is it some kind of digital signature thing that proves it's real or not? And when it's faked, then it's like, you take a picture on your phone, right? It has metadata, but you can fake the metadata. Is there some kind of digital thing that says, yes, this was shot on an iPhone at this date, this time, this location, that is now unchangeable? And when it is changed, you now know that it's faked.
That would be so wild when we're doing this podcast and we can't tell who's actually on the other side, or if you have your AI replacement. Like, you have no idea, like, if you're talking to the real Paul, I don't know. Or is it like real Alex? And I think that's kind of wild because like, what does that mean for evidence in court? What does it mean for like other things? And that's just going to be crazy. And so like, is this going to bring us like where we have to do some crazy like handshake where we spit on our hand and like high five, like in real life, like something like, it's like, how do you decide what's real unless you're physically there, able to touch it and speak to that person? That's going to be wild. Like, I'm the next 5-10 years. You know what I was thinking about it? Go ahead, Alex. And I was
gonna say, we're gonna use some type of AI tool to get past the CAPTCHA, and then we'll use this voice and photo/video recognition software to basically write that review, approve it, and bam, legitimate review.
So the thought I had, because my daughter Marissa, she never lived in a world which did not have an iPhone. And so if you tell her like pre-iPhone era, she like doesn't believe you, she doesn't exist. Think of kids that are being born tomorrow or today, living in a world where they never lived a day in a life where AI did not exist. And does this mean that they're going to grow up on content, let's say, that's generated by AI, which is not real? And like, what does that mean to future, like, human race, like having this whole generation? Because imagine like right now we could tell like this movie's fake or the song is, I could kind of tell it's not real, but give it like 6 months, give it a year. It's not going to take 5 or 10 years. I think it's going to move at a much rapid pace where you're going to have something like TikTok where you're able to scroll, but the videos that you see that you like are auto-generated and they're not even real people. And they're just going to give you the content that you find interesting based on, your whatever swiping. Wild.
Yeah, and I think what always happens is I think that you could see return to like I still feel like we can't regulate. There's nothing we can do about it. We could try to like create a global unique identifier for every image Midjourney creates. That's going to like, there's no way you could put it on blockchain. It would never work. I mean, it's going to be like trillions of images, because you just go look at the Discord channel, how many they're making. But I think that going back to handcrafted things will be something that people do. And I think just like you'll want to have that legitimate shot that someone took with an older camera, or something like that. And it's going to be really hard to beat the true artists in the world. But
I don't think it's going to be really hard to beat it. I think it will beat it. I think it will beat it. It will match it. But there is something to be said for something that is handmade.
Yeah.
There is something to be said for it being authentic. I agree. There is some kind of artistic thing behind that, but I think the AI will match it and will beat it. Right. But how do we know that your photograph is real?
Yeah.
I
don't know yet. I mean, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. You assume everything's fake, I guess, like think about this. Like, what if, like sports leagues, like suddenly the NFL just says, you know what? We know who won that game.
They already do.
I know exactly. Like,
allegedly.
So there's a reason why they beat the point spread every time. You wonder. It makes you wonder. In fact, true story. I'm a huge Bulls fan, and we're watching the Bulls play the Heat in the playoffs, and we go see what the games were on Sunday. Me and my brother were watching it, and it was like in the middle of the third quarter, and they had Miami Heat already in the Monday game. So like they'd already scheduled it. It was already on the website on NBA.com that Miami had won. And I'm like, we're watching in the third quarter. How did they know that? It's like, and sure enough, the Bulls lost. So,
it's wild.
They're using AI.
They're using AI to generate the games now. We just don't know.
It's crazy because I was kind of making a joke last episode. You weren't here, Alex. I created this app that will take short videos and convert them to full, like YouTube Shorts, and convert them to fully fledged articles that automatically get posted on my website. And so the joke was I was taking your shorts and I was just feeding them into my AI, and it was like writing all my blog posts based on the content you create. I'm not doing it, but the idea of that's insane how easily someone could just create an AI that will take content and change it enough to a point where it's not exactly the content you created, but it's based off the idea that you had, and create completely new content. And who's the owner of that? That's wild.
We're about to get flooded with AI content.
Yeah,
absolutely flooded. Imagine if you're a mainstream, or let's say a legitimate news organization these days. Could you imagine what their information like helpline is like, or their information like email is like these days? Imagine getting all of those news stories in, right? I don't know how they're managing to sift through it all to find what is true and what isn't. If you weren't, as to Paul's point, if you weren't there and didn't actually see it, did it actually happen? It's the old tree falling in the woods, but for everything.
I'm actually contemplating, and I haven't tested it out yet, but basically I was going to start off with a blog with because I'm actually building this digital product where, someone could just replace content here and there, whatever. So I have this code for the hero section where it's like basically the first thing you see whenever you get to a page. And I just basically copied and pasted that into ChatGPT, and I told him to write a blog article about this, and just and then also gave it the type of audience I want to read this type of information. And it kind of did a pretty good job. And I'm like, man, can I just make a book about how I built this digital product and then just sell that? I mean, it's not that I didn't actually make the app, but it's like there's just so much writing involved in terms of like explaining what you're doing and why you did it. And it's just like so much work, but it's able to just take your code and be like, okay, you did this, you did that, you did this. And it's like, you move this to the left, you move this to the right. And maybe I'll try that.
Me and Kevin had this exact conversation yesterday. We were talking about writing a second book, and I have a book out that, I wrote and stuff like that. And we were saying, we were asking ourselves the question, could we take the points and write it instead of, shocking. I had a ghostwriter in my first book. So, they did. That's why it's good, because there was a ghostwriter on it. But like,
hold on, it's all your ideas.
It's
and
all my
your
ideas, but
words
he
and everything.
crafted
You just
it.
like they
wordsmithed
crafted it. Yeah.
So we had it took actually 6 months to make it, but I'm wondering if we could make a book from ChatGPT. So we talked about it. We were talking about making the outline and then trying to craft the 10 chapters or whatever it would be, and then edit it from there, obviously, because it's always like what you saw, Alex. It's like, yeah, it's kind of good. Let me type on that a little bit, but it could save you time. It could get you there.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think you should definitely explore the tools, and it's almost like feels weird saying it. If you're not going to do it, Alex, somebody else will. And so one thing that like on my blog post that I have auto-generated by AI, it clearly says generated by AI because I didn't really have anything to do with it. But if you are using it to research and you doing it based on your notes and you like you said, you created like your product, like there's nothing wrong with that. You just it's like using a human ghostwriter. You just happen to use ChatGPT, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I am curious, like for instance, like I do have this website where I clearly say it's so easy to create that auto-generated content. I don't use it for SEO. I don't even put the metadata because I don't know if Google is going to be like, hey, this is clearly AI generated content. I'm going to punish you for releasing that because or they're not going to care. Like, I don't know. But I am doing an experiment. Like I kind of took a break from it, but I'm going to commit to a weekly video. I'm trying to see if my AI YouTube channel could surpass my YouTube channel.
Is this the one with the AI instructor lady?
Yeah, it's my lady. Her name is Ava. She's got feelings. She just released Uncovered Minimum Math Needed to Understand AI. Really informative video. Not saying that I'm learning math, but yeah, it's pretty neat. Like, because I'm doing research for some of the stuff, I'm like, why don't I just throw it in like the service that I'm using and make a video out of it? And it's pretty nice.
It looks cool.
You should plug the channel.
Cool.
Huh?
Yeah. What is it? What's the
Oh
channel?
yeah. It's called. It was called Practical Web Development Tutorials because I thought I was going to do tutorials, but I never changed the name. But I gave up on ever doing tutorials for anything. Like unless I live code on my channel, I'm just never going to do it.
They're hard.
Practical Web Development tutorials.
Wow, you have 124 subscribers.
I mean, it took like forever, but slowly the videos are like getting better. 181 views, legit. My Strappy video, which was not generated by AI, the voice was generated by AI, but I wrote the content. That got 5.6K, but that was like a year ago. But I literally just gonna keep this channel for like AI related stuff by AI. And what I decided what I'm gonna do, because like AI is kind of like boring because it's written by ChatGPT, no feelings, no emotions. And so what I randomly will start doing is like putting some sort of things that a human would say, like one of them I say in the last video I have her say, Coding After 30 is a friend of our channel, but but you don't have to subscribe to this channel or something like that. Like something like. Or like subscribe, like just because an AI doesn't mean I don't have feelings, like stuff like that.
So you're taking the ChatGPT output then, and you are then enhancing it.
Yeah,
to
definitely
add more
enhance
stuff to it
it
before you feed it back through the next AI that generates the voice.
So here's one thing I started to do. So if you like take a thing and you ask it to do and you put it out there, that's like lazy work for me. Like I think what a lot of people want to do is like they want someone to, I forgot what the word for it is, like, but take bunch of sources and make a nice presentation of it. Like what's the word for that? I forgot. Like
curate.
Yeah, curate. So like you basically become this curator. You just automating the process of how you share the process. So that's what I've kind of been trying to do, and we'll see what happens. It doesn't take that much time, and I'm only doing it for things that I'm learning. Like I'm literally trying to learn more about AI. So I'm actually interested, like what math class I have to take, because like I started like brushing up on my math skills just in case. And so I'm already looking for this information anyway. Let me share it with everybody else.
Are you using 11 Labs for the voice? Is that
for the voice? No, I got this service called Synth Asia, and so they create the video with the voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
This is what I'm absolutely convinced of in AI. I don't think it's going to replace coders, but I can almost promise you that this is a platform shift we're in the middle of watching. It's going to be equivalent to something like mobile. And a lot of apps are going to be built, and a lot of people are going to make money doing it. So, like, if you know how to code, you should be building something on AI at this point. So,
I was looking at one earlier, a SaaS that I'd like. I was like, oh, I kind of want this. It was it was a podcast app, and it basically generated ideas for podcasts. It transcribed your podcast, it timestamped it, and it created blog articles from it. Created a tweet thing from it. It was really cool.
Which service was this? Was it
Panda?
Right Panda.
Was it some? Yeah, Right Panda. Yeah, Right Panda. That was it.
Yeah, because
shout out to Right Panda.
I saw somebody else create exactly. Right Panda. So I saw somebody else had a service which took YouTube videos, converted them to blogs or like tutorials, whatever. And this is why I made my extension, because I was like, I ain't paying anybody else money. Like, I'm just going to do it myself. They definitely have a way better service than the app that I created, because I only spent like 3 days on it, but still.
Hey, Paul, share us your extension. I need that.
It's not publicly on Google Chrome, but yeah, I could tell you how it's very easily done. I'll tell you how I've done it. All you need to do is basically I put everything into Strappy, by the way, because I'm too lazy to make an API from scratch. But basically, I have a controller that will take the link of a YouTube video. It will download it, convert it to audio. Then you use Whisper from OpenAI to convert it to a transcript. And then I'm taking that transcript and I'm passing a prompt to it. I'm summarizing first into a nice outline, and then I am passing a prompt into it to convert into a blog post using text completion from OpenAI. So it's Whisper from OpenAI and text completion from OpenAI. It's so brilliant, so beautiful. It's amazing.
Make a blog.
I'm gonna have it make a blog for me, because I'm gonna make a short about it, and then I did make a short about it, which basically describes exactly the steps. It's not
Think about how meta that is. Think about how meta that is. Your tool is making a blog about how it was created in itself.
Funny thing about it. So there's a very obnoxious video on YouTube. Don't look it up. It is very like racist. It's like the ninja song or something like that. How to be a ninja. Terrible song.
I think you talked about this last week.
Very racist. Very terrible. Do not watch it. I don't know how that lady didn't get canceled. But I took that short video and I passed it to my AI like writer, and it had the common sense to be like, this is obviously terrible, terrible content. So instead of talking about anything that was in that video, it literally wrote a blog post on why being a ninja is awesome and how you can become a ninja. And I was like, that is really nice. It took a negative and turned it into a positive. So I'm happy. It's a win for my, politically correct app.
That's awesome.
That's great. Okay, well, that's it for this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening. A couple things, as always, I can ask you to do, if you would, leave us a rating and a review somewhere. There will be a link in the show description. So go leave us a review there and a rating if you could. That would be amazing. I hope it's a 5 stars. You listened this far. 5 stars would be great. I would really appreciate that. Also, there's a link down below if you want to email us anything too. Drop us an email with show ideas, questions, comments. Maybe if you send us a mail, maybe we'll talk about it next week. We'll see, whatever it is. If not, I won't be talking about it, and then we'll get here next week and ask the same thing again until somebody emails us. Well, that's it. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out.